and welcome back to another video. Woo! I know I have not been making videos. School. I'm a bit of a busy bee, sometimes, but I'm officially done. I have graduated. Woo! And so I'm free for now. For like 2 months, but it's okay. And then college, but it's fine. So, video, I'm gonna be telling you guys about the books that I read in April and May, and then I haven't been tracking the June ones yet, but I will get that going, and, yeah, books I read in April and May, but first, let me show you, what I've been doing off camera, because I just played a little bit, but hadn't had time or the want to make a video, so let me give you a little bit of a tour of my house and my situation, so, alright, let's go. So this is my, main room, where, most of the stuff happens. I've got storage, and I've got my level 30 enchantment table. This is where, words, my valuables. I've done a lot of mining. This inventory is because I'm working on the roof, and I think I'll do some roofing. We'll see. These are my cats. I haven't named them yet. If you guys want to come up with names in the comments, you're welcome to. And then out here, I have my my sugarcane farm, my tree farm, and my wheat farm. This is my house. It's a work in progress. But see, I'm putting the roof on. But I have my wheat farm and my animal farm, and then that's the village. But I stole villagers, and I have just the villagers in my house, so I don't have to leave. Eventually, maybe I'll wall off everything so that get everything going. But then up these stairs is, I have this little room to kind of keep the villagers. Okay, that's not what I meant. But in here I have this room, which is where all my villagers are kept, so I can trade with them, but I don't have, trades set up for all of them yet, but I've got a decent amount of them, so I can do that. And then I've been working on the roof. I don't know what I want to put up here, but because I'm gonna have a lot of space up here. But this is what I have been doing, is putting the stairs on the roof, and that's what I'm going to keep doing because I have a couple stairs, and so I'm going to keep putting stairs on the roof. See, this is my setup. This is what I've got. Okay. So, anyways, first book, right? That I read in April, because I did March in the last video. So April was The Girl Who Was Supposed to Die by April Henry, and I gave this book 2 stars. So basically, Katie doesn't remember anything, and she just wakes up on the cabin floor, and then people are just trying to kill her for information that she doesn't have, because she conveniently has amnesia. She doesn't know what's going on. She's just a girl, right? And so she leaves and she goes to McDonald's, and then the guy from McDonald's is he's gonna help her now, and he's her new best friend. And so he wants to help her figure out what's going on. I don't have fish for you. Get in the attic. Would you just stay right there? Anyways, the villager noises are distracting me. And so the McDonald's guy, he's going to try to figure out what's going on. And then things just start getting absolutely insane. So, Katie's parents have, a secret disease and vaccine for some reason, and and the company wants to, use it to make money. And so, but they're no, that's kind of weird. What are you doing? And so the company wants to kill the family for speaking out and saying, hey, maybe you shouldn't do that. And so, yeah. But then Katie, with some help from the guy, but he's kind of useless because she's just a strong, independent woman, and she's just super tough and, not like the other girls because she's super tough and, awesome like that. So she, runs through the woods, I think, and she, she saves the day because she's so tough and awesome. And then, yeah, that's the book. And it was a 2-star book. It wasn't, I was a little confused about the, what do you mean? What? Not the worst book that I read in these last 2 months. Because I read some things, Um, but the next book I read was a 5-star book. Isn't that awesome? I did it for once. Picked a book that was actually good. You'll see later. That's difficult. But this 5-star book was A Man Called Ove by Frederick Bachman. And so it's this old guy, right? This, like, ancient guy, super old. And so he's, chilling. He likes, order, and he's not a fan of, like, chaos. He likes to have control in his life. But then his life is moved upside down when, like, a new family moves in, and then it's just, like, he's kind of forced to make friends with them, because they, don't get the hint that he just wants to be left alone. And so he, ends up kind of finding his, people who care about him and that kind of thing. It's a really good book. It's fantastic, and I very much appreciated it. It was quite good. And then the ending is just really freaking sad. Like, oh my goodness, the ending is sad. And it's a really sad book, but it's so freaking good, and I would 100% recommend this book. It's so just awesome, and I would 100% recommend read this book. Anyways, the next book I read, I gave 2 stars, but I think it's, it's a 1-star book, and this is Identical by Ellen Hopkins. If you want to read one of her books, don't pick this one. What the heck was this? This book, I don't know how much of this book I can talk about on YouTube. That's how it was. But there's these 2 girls, Kaylee and Rayanne, but like spelled fancy because they're built different, and they're not like the other girls. They're identical twins, and but then they're like both messed up. And this book is 80% smut, and not the like legal kind, and the kind that people don't have morals either, and it's why would they do this to me? And all of those scenes were completely unnecessary, and just you didn't need to do this to me. I didn't need to know that happened, and that I didn't need all of those details. Please don't do that to me. And then the plot, I figured out the plot twist. And the plot twist, I'm going to completely spoil this book, because you shouldn't read it. And so I'm just going to completely spoil it, and I made way too many stairs, but I'm going to spoil the book. Anyways, so, plot twist, the twins are the same person, because Rayanne's been dead for 8 years, and so it's... And what was that? What do you mean she wasn't real the whole time? What do you mean? Why would you do that? That's so stupid, and why was I able to predict it? It was so bad. These villagers are quite distracting. My brain needs to work, but my brain just is not. It's done. I don't know. AP tests, and then finishing, all the stuff that comes from, graduation and all that completely destroyed my brain, and so it no longer works. But that's okay. I don't need it I will, but it's okay. Don't worry about it. But anyways, I wrote in my little book that it got 2 stars instead of 1 because it raised some interesting questions. I just wish I hadn't read it. And that's the only feeling I have about it, is that I wish I hadn't read it, and I wish I could go back and not read this book. Why? And it was so problematic too. It was ridiculously graphic. Like, I have a pretty high tolerance for that kind of thing. I've been kind of desensitized to it because of some of the other books that I've read. But this book was like on a whole another level of ridiculously graphic, and why? Just why? Um. And I couldn't root for the characters, and it's like I just wanted the book to end, but it didn't for so long. I need to go and sleep. What the heck was this book? And the characters made some problematic comments, and then that was just kind of accepted, and comments like they were asking for it. You know where I'm going with this. And that was just accepted as just how that works, when that's not how that works. And I can't. YouTube has, rules, and so I am not going to go into the details of why, especially in this situation, it doesn't make sense, but just trust me. That's not how that ever works. And I don't understand. And it was just like, oh, like they wanted it the whole time, but that doesn't make sense, and that's not how that works. And then it's like the whole point of writing about a topic like this book is to like be like, oh, it's wrong, and like don't do that, and like, but then you're just saying that like, oh, they kind of wanted it, what this book, it just made it so much worse, and it was already so bad. It was, oh my goodness, this book, I don't know why I gave it 2 stars. I think it was just me being kind of hopeful. Anyway, I think I crafted a few too many stairs. I need to get down. Let me down. Awesome. Anyways, I think I need to get the walls of the attic going, so I'm gonna collect the materials for that, which is it's gonna be the same kind of style as the rest of the house. Should I put some windows up there? No, let's just not. I don't really want to wait for it to smelt. We're just gonna do this and see what that does, and see. I don't care. I don't think I'm gonna use this space up here, so really for anything. But I need to wall it off, so that because this is the last thing I need to do to like finish my house. And then I can do something that's like relaxing for me, like mining. It's fine. But I have this wall, and then this little wall. But anyways, Identical by Ellen Hopkins was a 1-star book. Don't read it. I wouldn't recommend it. Do I want this set back one? Yeah. Oh, I broke the... Alright, coming down. Everything is just going swimmingly. Okay, back up we go. But anyways, next book. I need to move on with my life to the next book, because it's got to get better, right? The next book I read, I gave 3 stars, and this was Just Breathe by Cammie McGovern. Because, what was that? This book was not good. So David has cystic fibrosis, right? This is kind of, a ripoff of The Fault in Our Stars, but so much worse. Just so much worse. And you'll see why. You'll see why it's so much worse, because there are reasons. And there are so many of them as to why this book is so bad. But anyway, David's in the hospital with cystic fibrosis, and then Jamie volunteers at the hospital and to hang out with her mom. It's that kind, I just want to seal this off, gonna be honest. Awesome. That's good enough. But they meet when she's volunteering at the hospital and he's in the hospital because he's not doing too well, right? So she's like, you know, they end up being friends, and then he's like wants to sneak out of the hospital to like do cool stuff, and so they like go on dates because she's helping them. But they're not real dates, you see. They don't, you know, because David has a girlfriend. Yeah. I'm not kidding. He has a girlfriend. And yet he's going on dates with someone else, you see. And it tries to get like the same vibe as The Fault in Our Stars, but it's very much not. Nobody dies during the book, but people die before, but that detail isn't like critical to this summary, at least, because I don't want to give too much away about this one. About this book, anyways. Yet. Because I will be doing spoiling, because what was this? But, so they go on dates, and the two end up together. And like the plot twist was, oh, it's okay that David was cheating on his girlfriend because he's sick, and also she was cheating on him the whole time. Plot twist, and I was like, that's not how that works. I don't think that's how that works. But that was how the book was like, yeah, that's how that works. But no. Okay, and then I need to. What the heck did I do here? Okay, if we do... Because I have these. We'll just do that. Oh, goodness, no. Okay, I need to go back in. That's not going to help me go back in, though. I think I need to just go all the way back around. But that's okay. Boop. Okay. And so, you know, in the book, 2 wrongs make a right. And also, but plot twist, there's 3 wrongs. You know, made me feel kind of icky because he's 18. And she's 15. Why? Just why? Just why? Why on earth did that need to happen? But then the answer to that is that it didn't need to happen. But it happened. And I was like, you could make them both 18. It would change literally nothing about the story if you just made them both 18. So I don't understand why that isn't what was, you know? Because just make them both 18. It's not that difficult, so. Okay, roof, attic is on. It's good enough. The house is done. I'm gonna go dump my stuff off and then get a little bit more wood, just that because I like to have a little bit more wood on me. And then maybe we'll go and do some mining, because I want to, you know? Um, so. You think? That's probably enough wood. And then I want to repair my pickaxe. And I'll just do that with some diamonds. And then we'll go, and then I will go mining, and because I think I could do that best and tell you guys about these books, because my brain just does not work. The words are not, you know? But anyway, that was that book. I said that it was, that, you know, even though there's cheating and the insta-love trope, because of course there is, I said that it wasn't super problematic. Also, this is my basement. I have another portal, and then over here, I built a super smelter. Look at it go. But then down there is my diamond mine. Down we go. We just fall down. And then I did that because then we can go to the end of this path, because that's where I've been doing my mining, and we'll do a little bit of, you know, just some mining, cause mining. Oh, I didn't dig that far down this one. I'm not sure what's going on. Oh. I see why I wasn't doing that now. But 2, 3, I think right here. Probably should have brought more than 27 torches, but I'm just gonna fix the holes I left because they're gonna bug me. And then we'll go and just see if we can go down this path at all, but we might not be able to. But anyways, that was that book. And then the next book that I read, was, you see, I was so done because I had read some books that were not good, and so I reread an old childhood favorite, Out of My Mind by Sharon M. Draper, which is about this 11-year-old girl, Melody, who, you know, is disabled, and she's really smart, but like no one knows that really, because she isn't really able to communicate that because of her disability. Diamonds. So many diamonds. Anyways, I had to focus up because there was lava. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to continue this strip. Yeah, it doesn't look like it. Anyways, but 14 diamonds already. That's pretty darn good. Shall we keep trying? 2, 3, I think right there. Alright, let's go. Oh, okay, but she joins the quiz team and is like really kind of, you know, getting in her element, but then a lot of, you know, I gave this book 5 stars because it's an old favorite. I knew I was going to give it 5 stars before I put it in here because, you know, I really liked it back in the day and it still holds up. So I'm not going to spoil it a whole lot, but things get kind of crazy, you know? And a lot of stuff happens. But anyways, and the next book I read, I also gave 5 stars, and it was a book that I hadn't read before. So it was, you know, pretty exciting for me to be able to give it 5 stars. But this was the Book Censor's Library by Balthania Al-Essa. I'm not sure how to pronounce that name, but anyway, this book was absolutely fantastic. I give it five stars. One of my favorites of books. I don't know of all time, but it's pretty. I would recommend it. But basically, it's there's this guy, and he's never named, but he's the new book censor, and in this world, it's his job to ban books, essentially, that break any number of rules that this society has, and pretty much everything breaks the rules. But so this guy, he's a book censor, right? I'm just not dealing with the lava. I don't have the energy for this. 3, counting is hard. But in this society, imagination is illegal, and so the society just wants to create like a bunch of robots, essentially. But you know, that's not really a good thing, and because imagination's a good thing, you know. You know, that's how that works. But this book censor, you know, he can't not read the books and start resisting into this group called the Cancers, because they want people to be able to read whatever they want and be able to imagine whatever they want. And so this book censor he's, you know, resisting a little bit. But then I don't really want to spoil the book, because you should just read it, because it's absolutely fantastic. Diamonds. But we can see that things get absolutely crazy, and the book censor has to kind of question, like, what the heck? No. I don't want. Die. No. Silverfish, no. Go away. Oh my goodness. Does that mean that this path is going to be a no-no? Can I keep mining? Okay. Interesting. But anyways, I don't really want to spoil the book, but things get really crazy, and he has to kind of question does he want to become a model citizen for his family, or are his beliefs and morals about imagination and reading more important, and he picks his family, because I think a lot of people would pick their kids and their families over making some sort of point about, you know, the rules of this society. But then he kind of can't, you know, he has to pick which giant part of himself he's going to give up. And it's like this whole thing. And the ending of the book is absolutely insane, and I'm not going to spoil it because it's absolutely ridiculous. Like, the last 2 pages, ooh, diamonds. The last, like, 2 pages of this book are just like, holy crap. It's so frickin' just amazing. Oh my gosh, dude. Diamonds. I'm not gonna need to mine. I don't really need to mine. I have so many diamonds back at the chest you saw, but it's, you know, it's relaxing for me to just mine. So, I just like doing this, you know? Not this. Go away, lava. What the heck? Anyways, but that book was 5 stars. It's so good. And then the next book I read, you see, I start doing a decent job, it seems. Because the next book I gave 4 stars, you know, which is in my rating scale, 4 stars is absolutely fantastic. And I read Misery by Stephen King. It was my first Stephen King book. So many diamonds over here. Oh my goodness. I'm rich. Oh, I'm out of torches. Alright, quick trip back to the surface for more torches. And maybe we'll... I don't know if I want to keep mining. I kind of do want to keep mining. So I'm going to go up and get some more torches. But I'll keep telling you about this book because the ladder is, oh my gosh, quite long. But there's this famous author, Paul Sheldon, you know. He's been in a car wreck, and this nurse, Annie Wilkins, she finds him, and she's like his biggest fan, right? So she just takes him to her house in the woods and holds him hostage so that he can write the next installment of her favorite series. The main character is Misery, and that's where the title comes from. And he just like is being forced to write this book, and he doesn't really want to. She's like torturing him, and like it's a whole thing. But then he finishes the book, and then I don't really want to spoil it because this book is ridiculous and it's amazing. It's quite good. I loved it. But things get real crazy, and the characters were so like well written and so good. And the only reason I didn't give it 5 stars is because there were some really chunky excerpts from the book that Paul was writing for Annie, and it didn't really feel necessary to include, and I didn't really care for that part. But everything else in the book was like 5 stars. So anyway, and then the next book I read, right, is a 1-star book. Do I remember this? I do recall this. But I read Darling Girls by Sally Hepworth. And so Jessica, Nora, and Elisa they're sisters, just like through the foster care system. When they're in their 30s, a dead body of an infant is discovered, just like under the house that they used to live in. And it's like a whole thing. Anyways, that's probably enough torches. Let's go back to the mines. Alright. We can mine a longer stretch now because I made a whole bunch of torches. So we can just go forever. But, so the body is discovered, and through a series of coincidences, I predicted who the killer was before I even started reading the book. Because it was that obvious. And I don't like being able to do that. Like, I hadn't started reading the book, and I figured out who it was. That's not really supposed to happen. And that when that happens, it's really frustrating, and like, and it was such a poor book. I didn't like it. And literally every single adult was so incompetent. I'm like, come on, guys, get it together at least a little bit. And at the beginning of the book, I thought it had 5-star potential because it was, but then the twists were like, she wasn't real the whole time. And so the majority of the story wasn't real. It was that kind of thing. And the whole part of the story to make you like the villain and make the villain kind of likable, at least a little bit likable. Those were all lies the whole time, and like over half the book was just lies. That's not a twist. That's just you wasting people's time with like, if you're gonna don't do that. It's so stupid. And diamonds are not stupid. I love finding diamonds. I might get over a stack of diamonds while mining. Cause that would be awesome. to just get a whole bunch of diamonds. I don't know what I'm going to do with them all, but I'm going to have them. Because I just kind of, enjoy mining. It's fun, nice and relaxing. But anyways, I'm rambling. And I don't want this video to be like a mile long. So let's keep moving. Anyways, the next book, I've only got, 2 more books, and then it's the end of May, and I haven't tracked any of the June ones. I have read books this month, but I have not tracked them because I finished my one book and I've been lazy. And so we're just gonna not have it's the book total of books that I read this year will be close enough. I don't really care if it's 100% accurate, but it's fine. But I read a 5-star book, which was In Order to Live by Yeonmi Park, which, I thought was a really good book. I second-guessed myself after I attempted to read the sequel, which I will get into because I didn't make it very far in the sequel before quitting. But this book is basically, it's a memoir. The author was born in North Korea, and even though, her family was more well-off than a lot of other people who lived in that country, there was still, it wasn't good, and she still suffered a lot. And eventually her and some of her family had to try to escape, and so they went to China, and things get absolutely insane, and a lot of bad things happen to her. And then they eventually make it to South Korea, where the whole family is able to get reunited, and things get a lot better. And it's really well written, and I gave it 5 stars because it was really good. But then the sequel made me rethink things, because the sequel opens with an intro from Jordan Peterson, and it just gets just ridiculous and starts going to and starts talking about how America, because I guess she moved to America, and starts talking about how the Democrats, right? They're like North Korea for some reason. I didn't get far enough into figure out how did we get here? And she was talking about how they're saying I'm brainwashed, but I'm not because I'm right. And it was a whole bunch of propaganda on a certain side. And I when I told my friends about it, I was like, I quit reading this book because I didn't want to read Why I Became a Trump Supporter, the novel. Because that's what it was. And she's wrong, because that's not... I don't understand how you could get from point A to being a Trump supporter from living... I don't get how you could get from living in North Korea and having clear memories of living there to then voting, or because she couldn't vote at the time because she wasn't a citizen, so she wasn't able to vote for him, but she would have. She made it very clear that she would have. And I didn't feel the need to read 200 pages of that garbage. And so it made me rethink kind of, was the first book actually that good? Or, were there signs of, it kind of going in that direction before, in the first book that I missed? And it just kind of got ridiculous. And then the last book I read was a 5-star book, and I kind of, figured it was probably going to be a 5-star book, because I was really looking forward to reading it. And it was The House of My Mother by Sherry Frankie. I don't know if you guys know about the whole thing where it was this. It's a true story. I read a lot of memoirs. It's one of my favorite genres. But basically, it was a family vlogging, gone horribly wrong situation, and it was a really good book. It was really well done, and she's the oldest in the family. And so she, saw the abuse, and then she went off to college when things were, getting a lot, I guess, worse. And it was really getting crazy with, the whole Jodi Hildebrandt situation. And, that was when Sherry was at college. But she was kind of watching and trying to keep her eye on her siblings, and it was like, she was like, no, the heck. And so it's like her story about all of that and her perspective on all of it, and it was a really good book, and I gave it 5 stars because it was just absolutely it was well done and absolutely fantastic. And even like knowing a lot of just the information about the case and like what was going on, and just kind of already knowing that information, it's still a really good book because she did a really good job of writing it. So I would 100% recommend that. And so that is all of the books that I read in April and May. And I have plans for, I guess, more information. I'm going to start heading back up to the surface because I gave you the information. So you've got enough mining footage for today, I think. Let's go! I don't know if you can hear me spamming the space bar, but it's okay. But I have plans for just even more, I guess, content, because I plan to keep track of not only just the books that I read, but also the books that I don't end up finishing, and the ones that I quit reading, and kind of why I did that, because that would be interesting, you know. But I don't know if you're going to get more consistent content, because I am going off to college at some point. And so obviously I won't be able to record then and like make content then, because I won't be here. But I don't know if you'll get a bunch of content before then, or any of that kind of stuff. But we'll see. Kind of, basically, if you want to make sure you see the content, you should subscribe, because then it'll show up and you can get notified about it in your subscription box, about me, because I'm a little inconsistent in uploading. So you should subscribe and like if you want. And also, if you have like book recommendations, if you really want to see me read a book, you can drop that down in the comments. And no promises, but I'll certainly try, because I don't get that many like comments and stuff, and so I'll see it, guaranteed. And so if you want that, just drop it down in the comments. Any and all recommendations, go for it, go crazy. Anyways, hope you enjoyed the video. I'm almost at the top. We're almost done, guys. We made it. But I should put my gold in the... I'll dump off my stuff, and you'll just get to hear me ramble while such a thing happens. Boop. Boop. And, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I'm that good at picking out books for myself. I don't think I do that good of a job, I'm gonna be honest. Since I read a lot of books that I end up rating fairly low rankings, which is not ideal and not really what you want to see. Because, I wish I could pick books for myself that I liked. I wish that was something that I knew how to do. And be able to do that, like, consistently, and, that would be nice. Alright. But I guess I can't do that. But it's okay. Anyways. Thank you guys for watching. You should subscribe. Bye!